So it probably sounds a little backward, like I'm putting planning here near the end, in the middle of this whole thing. But really, if you don't know your purpose and you don't know your message or why you're going to be out there, you don't know what to plan for. So once you know your purpose, why you're going out there, and what kind of message you want to present, now we know what to plan for and what kind of information to go and get and be prepared to present to people as we reach out to make connections. Some basic information that you should be looking for. You need to have market knowledge about the unique market you are in at the time you're door knocking. Let's be honest. The market in White City is very different from the market in Lehigh City. And Lehigh City is definitely not Eagle Mountain. And Eagle Mountain is Copperton. And most of you probably don't even know where White City or Copperton are. So market knowledge. Every neighborhood can be unique. Cross the freeway anywhere in Salt Lake City, in Salt Lake County, you're in a whole different community. Cross the freeway in Utah County, sometimes you feel like you've crossed into another universe. You need to know about the unique market that you are working in. People will know when you're bluffing. They live there. It's also good if you can have some idea about ownership information. The percentage of homes that are owned versus rented, how long owners have been in their homes. The longer someone's been in a home, the more likely they are to look at it as an investment and a potential time to move. Or they may have reached that stage after being there decades. It's time to downsize. Someone who's been there 3 to 5 years in a townhome may be ready to move up into a single family home. There's lots of things you need to know about ownership information in order to be able to speak with people about ownership potential in their neighborhood or in other areas around them. We need to plan how we're going to record contact information. I'll share a little bit more about my biggest mistake on that one early on when we get to that stage. I know we're not supposed to admit our sins in public, but it was a very painful learning experience that I've never forgotten. And finally, making sure that we have some kind of follow-up plan. And that's going to be unique to what you want to do with the information. So, market knowledge. There are a number of tools we can use to find market knowledge of various depths, anywhere from very basic market knowledge to drilling down to some specific information. We're going to look at a couple types of market knowledge that you really should be able to have either on hand in your notes as you go about or in your head before you leave the office, so that when people ask about the neighborhood, you can answer it. I'll be honest with you, nothing's more embarrassing than going open house and knocking and somebody asks, well, what's the home listed for? And it's somebody else's listing, and I didn't look it up and can't remember, and going, I don't know. Or, well, what are homes selling for in the neighborhood? I don't know. It kind of ruins the whole, I'd like to invite you to the open house when I don't know about the open house, or I don't know about the neighborhood. So let's take a look at some ways to get some basic market knowledge. On the MLS, on the login homepage, your very front page, on the right-hand side, on the right-hand column, there are some basic ways to find market statistics. The quick and dirty, easiest way to do that is to take a look at what the market's been like the last month in the zip code where you're looking or you're going to be door knocking. Now, keep in mind, a zip code can be a very large area, and you could be emphasizing just a small area. But you can say, look, within your zip code, in the last month, here's what the data is. You can, in that search box under the market statistics, you can set whatever range of dates you want. Again, this can change dramatically during the market. A January market is very different from a March market, but people are going to be comparing what they're looking for now to what's been going on around them recently. This box is pretty simple because you can choose the type of market. Honestly, it's easiest to keep the entire market there. Keep it as residential, and you type in the zip code where you're going to be looking, and then hit the refresh button down here at the bottom. And what you'll get is the average days on market, average list price, average sold price, and the number of sales in that last time period. This is for the entire market. This happens to be our leap day. I'm recording this on February 29th, 2024, my extra day to catch up. In the last 30 days, the average days on market, 64 days. Average sold price, 630, list price was 633, sold price about 620, and 2,590 were sold. That's on the entire MLS. If I want to know more specifically, then I'm going to go put in there and put the zip code for the neighborhood I'm looking at. And then those numbers will update automatically. Now you've got some quick and dirty data you can take with you and even use on a handout. In your zip code, here's what's going on, what happened in the last 30 days. Here's what the market is like right now. Another way to search is to search by statuses. Now, we've all done this on the full residential search in the past. We know we can search by statuses, but it's good to know how many active homes are there on the market in the area you're currently looking. Folks want to know that. Or how many are currently under contract or backup. They'll also may want to know how many are sold. Now, when you do a sold search, keep in mind that the MLS automatically sets for a 1-year search back. If you want to make it a little tighter, a little more current, you can go down and look and change the dates. But sometimes it's good to say, in the last year, this is how many homes sold in your market. But to give you an idea how the market has shifted, just in the last 30 days, this is how many have sold. This is what's going on now over the course of 30 days. You know that you can also be more specific about the location. Now, I will give you a little bit of a heads up on subdivision. Not every listing is going to be marked by subdivision. For example, if you want to look up my home, I have to look under Sandy City because my address is Sandy City. But I live in the White City subdivision. But very few listings have I ever seen, has the listing agent ever actually marked White City as the subdivision. It's just not real common knowledge because the mailing address is same. You can look at a whole county. You can look again by zip code. Another way to search is to use the map search. If you want to use the map tool and zoom down in and draw around your specific neighborhood. That's a little more technical because you at least need to know where you're going to start because zooming in can take a while. But it's a good tool to use if you want to draw around a particular neighborhood and just look at one part of a neighborhood. Need help with that? Reach out to me or just play with that tool on the MLS. Another place to get market knowledge is on the titleadvantage.com app online, as well as the app on their phone. Now, Title Advantage is the umbrella company that owns Real Advantage Title, that is our recommended title company. This app will allow you to search for market information in a variety of ways. The important part being, if you want to farm a neighborhood, you can set up and draw a map around the area you want to farm, and it will give you information about turnover rate. It will show you how long people lived in homes, the names of public records of who's the owner of record, and also importantly, if the owner of record and the mailing address for the property tax aren't the same, they don't match, that's an indication that's flagged as a potential absentee owner, a rental. You can search specific properties and find out information about specific properties. The advantage to their farm tool is that you can save that search and farm tool, and you can then open it up on the app on your phone. And as you're door knocking, going through the neighborhood, you can look at, there's my farm, here's the street I'm starting on, here's the house, and it's going to give you information about ownership and contact information, what's public record, and you can update right there. A lot of agents who've been successful door knocking in our brokerage will use that app to do that so that they have that information, and it's already built in. Planning on how to make sure you got contact information, it's already there. If you want to know more about that one, reach out to Amanda Ashby, our representative with Real Advantage title, because Real Advantage owns this particular app, you need to have the account approved and set up through Real Advantage to get credits to use it. Amanda can provide those to you, but that's one tool that you can use to look for that kind of information. Finally, we need to look at what you're planning on doing for follow-up. What are you going to do to keep in contact with these people, these connections you have made after that initial connection? Is it an appointment? Make the appointment. What are you going to do after the appointment? If they're not ready yet, but they say it's okay to keep in contact, what are you going to do? The important thing to remember is that your contact needs to be consistent and it needs to be relevant. Whatever CRM you're using, if it's anywhere from a spreadsheet to a list of names to those who are actually using Follow Up Boss, make sure you have a consistent plan for how to follow up with those connections you make in that neighborhood, because the information for them does need to be relevant. If I door knock Sugar House and then door knock Eagle Mountain, the kind of consistent, relevant information I'm providing to Sugar House is going to be different from Eagle Mountain. So make sure you have some way of tracking and marking where they're at, how you met them, when you met them, and the kind of follow-up are you going to do. Because you'll meet a lot of connections this way, and you need to be able to consistently follow up, because follow-up, really, consistent, relevant follow-up is where the money is. Now, I told you I was going to confess one of my sins. The very first time Marty and I went out door knocking together, it was in fact for an open house. We had beautiful, slick, glossy handouts to take with us, and we door knocked an entire neighborhood. I didn't know anything about the neighborhood. I hadn't done any research. I was just there to door knock to invite people to the event. All I took was a handful of handouts, and if somebody answered the door, great, here's the handout, hope to see you then. No way of recording contact information. No way to follow up with those folks afterward. Because a lot of them said, yeah, I'm kind of interested. But this was like a Tuesday, and the open house was on Saturday. No way to make sure whether or not those people actually came to the open house. Oh, sure, we had a sign-in sheet for the open house, and lots of people signed in. I don't remember if I door knocked into them, half a week before. We lost an opportunity to make some good, solid connections. So the next time we went out, we were a little better about at least having a clipboard and something to take notes on. Last time I went door knocking, I'm a bit old school. I took notes just on a notepad. Some people prefer to do it on their phone. A lot of agents will actually go up, and if somebody answers the door, they'll actually just have their phone with them, and they'll hit record on their phone and record the conversation. Now, you don't need to say, hold on a second, I got to record this. Oftentimes, it's just in their hand, because we're always carrying phones anyway, and they'll just turn the recording on while talking so that they have the whole thing recorded and then can go back, because we can't always remember everything about a conversation. But make sure that you've got a way to record that and then follow up consistently, because there's little point to making this connection if there's no follow-up. We mentioned way back at the beginning that one of the primary reasons for door knocking is working in a farm. A farm is a place where you plant seeds and harvest later. You have to keep door knocking in the same area and keep getting your name out there in front of people, getting your name in front of the same people you've already talked to before, and continually and consistently following up with them so that those seeds can grow. And then the harvest comes. The hard part about door knocking is you're not always going to meet somebody that's ready right now. There are times you will. But if somebody says, well, I'm thinking maybe 6 months down the road, you're still going to need a paycheck in 6 months. So don't give up on it. Be consistent, follow up, and that's where the money is. So go out and meet people. By the way, just as an aside note, I know we've called this door knocking. It's not always door knocking when this happens. When you're just talking to people, just meeting people, just be prepared to answer questions about the market and make those connections and follow up.